Louie Ruelas is apologizing. This morning, he issued an apology to Margaret Josephs after the Real Houses of New Jersey finale has aired. Jackie Goldschneider and Teresa Giudice are both reacting to the big Jackie bombshell in the finale, and Bravo just announced a mini BravoCon. All right, let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Hi guys, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Let's get it, get it, get it. Okay. I am going to be doing cameos later today, so I just wanted to give you guys a reminder. I am on Cameo. You can book a personalized message from me on the Cameo. Whether it's, I've been doing a lot of birthday shout outs lately. You guys have a lot of birthdays this summer. So if you want a personalized message from me, whether it's a birthday message for your friend, you want a pep talk, you want a business shout out, you want me to break up with somebody for you, happy to do it. I'm here. I'm at your beck and call. I am at your service. Okay, so interesting bit of news. It was announced at the top of this week on Monday, actually, that there's going to be a Bravo Fan Fest. Not really. To me, it kind of looks like maybe it's a mini BravoCon. So Bravo announced we're going to 305. Join us November 21st through 23rd for 5 tapings of Bravo's Watch What Happens Live, plus an epic one-day fan fest featuring 25 plus Bravo Lebs. Tickets on sale this Friday, and they're calling it the Bravo Fan Fest. Pamela says, I'm about to have Zach break up with my guy for me. He's getting on my nerve. Listen, I'm here for it. Come and book me. Okay, so Watch What Happens Live with Andy is happening 5 days this November, November 21st. Oh, actually, it says, well, I guess there are 5 tapings, but it's only happening on the 21st through the 22nd. And then on the 23rd is when they're having the Fan Fest Miami. We're in our Miami era. Hey, Bravo besties, the heat is on. Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and Bravo Fan Fest are touching down in Miami this November. Grab your Bravo besties and join us for some fun in the sun. Interesting. They've never taped Watch What Happens Live in Miami before. They've done LA. But, well, the interesting thing too is these dates sound like the dates that would have been the original BravoCon for this year. I'm wondering if there was some sort of venue issue in Vegas, and that's why they decided, or wherever. Maybe they were planning it for Miami, maybe they were planning for Vegas. It sounds like maybe there was some sort of schedule or coordination issue, because usually when you have these big, like, multi-day conferences, you typically book a year in advance. So after one event, it's standard to then book for the following year. So I'm wondering if maybe something fell through and they weren't able to secure the venue that they wanted. Maybe it was Vegas. Um, for this year, and that's why they decided to push back to 2025, because also they've already booked for 2025. They already have the dates announced and everything. So I would imagine they signed that, but like, come on, it's more than a year post. So I would imagine that deal, booking, I'm assuming in Vegas, is probably just something you need to do well in advance. So being that these were what I would have imagined the original dates. Oh, I heard the NBC Universal money went towards the Olympics instead. That would make sense too, if it was maybe a budget thing and not a scheduling thing. That makes sense. But also the budget, well, I guess they would be budgeting for 2025. Um, but that makes sense, right? Rather than doing BravoCon, they put the money towards the Olympics, because they're doing a big push with Peacock right now. But then they're still doing a little something. Whereas I would imagine they were going to do Watch What Happens Live like they always do with the LA Fest. But instead, this year they decided to take it to Miami, which I'm sure is cheaper because it's easier to get everybody from New York to Miami rather than it would be getting Andy and the crew over to LA. Although I'm sure they outsource like a crew that's already here in LA. But the Fan Fest, it's uncertain what that actually looks like. I would imagine there are going to be lots of different pop-up events. They've been doing like mini bits of BravoCon, right? They had like a pop-up I think they had like a Peacock or a Bravo, some sort of pop-up activation where you can like go and explore different themed backdrops and whatnot, or like photo ops. So there you go. You can mark your calendar November 21st through the 22nd and November 23rd for the Bravo Fan Fest. Exciting. We shall see. We shall see. Okay. In other news, what else? Okay, so we have Louie Ruelas, who has just issued an apology to none other than Margaret Josephs. Dun 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 dun. So Louis posted Tuesday morning on his Instagram story, similar to like the post that Teresa posted on hers. So it says, writes, "The finale was very tough for me to watch, and I wanted to address it with you all. After watching the finale, I was disappointed in my actions in bringing up Margaret Joseph's son. The reason he was even brought up was because I had been dealing with being falsely accused of calling Margaret's son at work, which is simply not true. For the last year, Margaret kept putting this narrative out there that I called her son at work, and I have had to deal with knowing I am being lied on." Then how does she get the phone? Like, what did she doctor the phone records? Is that what he's trying to say? That the phone records are false? Like, who would set Louis up like this is what I want to know. And why? There's enough dirt and tea on Louis that I don't think that it's that blasphemous to make an accusation like this. And it sounds pretty logical that he would engage in something like this, considering all of the other allegations against him. Just kind of falls in line. Still, I know better not to bring up somebody's child, and it is something I deeply regret. So I do want to apologize and acknowledge that I was wrong. There's a lot of toxicity on the show that has affected everyone on the show. We've been dealing with a lot of frustrating things behind the scenes, and it's been very hard for our entire family and my children, who have been really impacted by all that's happened at the hands of certain people. Two wrongs don't make a right, and I deeply regret saying what I said. He's like, I'm saying what I said, but I was entitled to say what I said, but what I said was still wrong, but I was provoked. But what she did was wrong, but I was just reacting, but it was still wrong, and two wrongs don't make a right. Like, this isn't like it's not like, I'm sorry, I crossed a line. I shouldn't have brought up your kid. It was like, I'm sorry, but don't forget she's been lying about me. I'm sorry, but I got caught up in the moment because, she said that I called her son when I didn't call her son. I'm sorry that you made me do it. Yep, Jen, I'm sorry that you made me do this. It's your fault, but I do apologize for it. That's really what this is. I'm sorry you made me do this because you're toxic. I'm sorry, but it's ultimately your fault. You provoked me to do this. Like, this really does sound like an apology from somebody that is very highly manipulative. And I've tried to give Louis the most amount of grace, but it's like every time, like, this isn't an I'm sorry, I screwed up. I shouldn't have talked about your kid. That was crossing the line. It was, I'm sorry. But again, you're the reason I did this, you know? I only did this to you because I love you so much. I can't contain all of my love within me for you. I just love you too much. Please. Hmm. Zach, Melissa's old nose talked about his apology. I don't know. Has she? I don't know. Who is Melissa's? I don't even know who that person is. I hear the handle and the name. People, I literally have no idea. I don't even think I follow this person on Twitter. Where are they at? I don't know. Um, I didn't understand how Melissa's old nose became such an authority. He's doing it for the fan base. Yeah, he's doing it to make himself look like a good guy. He's not doing it because he genuinely apologizes. When you like just listening to him, I wish the worst things to ever happen on Margaret. I wish the worst things to ever happen on her son. Like, that is dark. And he's upset that he was exposed. Brian says, anyone have a finger size violin to play during his shit apology? I mean, that's really what it is. It's a shit apology. It's not a real apology. But we also have Jackie Goldschneider, who's coming on out and also sort of deflecting. She's reacting to the finale as well as Teresa. And so she did an interview. I believe her and Teresa, they did interviews with BravoTV.com. And Melissa says, that this is actually her direct quote. I'll read it for you. Margaret thought that she was going to dismiss her culpability by putting it all on me, but the truth is that once my fight with Teresa was over, I stopped speaking to that ex, so I hadn't spoken to her in years. Jackie says that she was caught off guard by Margaret's declaration, which is why she initially denied it. She was caught off guard, and that's why you lied? Like, you lied. You literally lied multiple times. Like, you literally those were words that were false that were coming out of your mouth that you knew were false. It wasn't like somebody caught you up and you, like, fumbled on your words. You were like, "No, it's not true. It never happened." And then everybody's like, "This is pretty big." And she's like, "It's not true. It never happened." And then she's like, "Margaret, you're trying to deflect." And then they're like, "Well, Margaret obviously has evidence or she wouldn't bring this up." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, okay. I talked to her, Teresa. I talked to her." Like the way she buckled, like not it wasn't even just that she folded. Her whole body buckled. She turned into the hunchback of Notre Dame and her whole body just folded in and she was just like, "Fuck, I got caught." She walked out like that too. And I was like, "Girl, stand up straight. Put your chest out, right? Say it with your whole chest." Yes, I went and talked to the ex because I was mad at you. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. It's just her whole body just like folded. She just whoop, whoop, just curved in. Somebody on the comments said she folded like a cheap suit, and I thought that was funny. Jackie was a nervous wreck this whole season, just waiting for the possibility that this news would be revealed. Yeah, and then she said that to Teresa. She's like, I'm actually, you know what? I'm glad that this came out. I just lied about it 5 seconds ago, where I denied it 10 times, but I'm glad that this came out because I knew it was going to come out eventually. And now she's saying the reason that she lied was because she was caught off guard. Yeah, typically when somebody exposes you for lying, you don't typically like expect it, right? Because you think that you're gonna get away with the lie. Like, what? It was crazy. Which, by the way, I do have to say, I rewatched the Jersey finale. I watched it on Peacock because originally I watched it as it aired live on Bravo. The Peacock version, this time, as with any episode, I feel like just slaps so much harder because it's uncensored. So when you hear Dolores call Margaret, a line, "See you next Tuesday," you can just like, you feel it, you hear it, just slaps so much harder. Uncensored is the only way to watch these shows. Telling you that right now. Uncensored is the way to go. Watch it on Peacock, download Peacock, tune into it there. It's a lot better. I will say, watching the finale the second time, it was better than watching the first time. And I stand by all my original commentary about the original airing on Bravo because I believe that the way that they hyped it up, the way that they sold us this finale was that it was going to be some big bombshell revelation, right? It was going to be fireworks and there's glass broken everywhere. And they made it seem like it was going to be explosive. And it really wasn't explosive. And so I was expecting it to be crazy and table flipping and whatever. Again, we didn't really get that. So I feel like the way they marketed the finale to us was very different from the finale that we got. Had we not had that marketing and we just went into this finale, I think we would have looked at it with a different lens and I think we would have liked it and appreciated it a little more. But because it was so hyped as, "You're not gonna like, just wait," and then Dolores is like, "This ended terribly," and then you see broken glass everywhere and ice on the floor and you just think, "Oh, like there was a brawl." That's what they made it seem like, there was some big brawl that was coming, and there was no brawl, and Nate Cabral isn't even wearing a bra, so there was no brawl. The uncensored version is better. The uncensored version, I will repeat, is the only way to sell it. Jackie G, New York Times not bestseller and shitstorm. Yeah, imagine like what a total flop. Like this wasn't just a flop of a season for Jackie. She literally befriended Teresa so that she could become a New York Times bestselling author and lied to Teresa, and she didn't even make the bestseller list. Like, what a I would be, if I were Teresa, I would be pissed. I promoted your fucking books that you could take down Margaret, and in the end, Margaret took you down. Like, what a waste of an effort, you know? Jackie was just oof, something else. She was mm, it was not good. But Jackie continues in her interview after, Margaret dropped the bomb. She said, "I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to admit it. And if Teresa doesn't want to be my friend anymore, I get it." Well, yeah, why would she want to be your friend? Like, here's the thing. People are like, well, Margaret's absolving any sort of responsibility for doing this by deflecting onto Jackie. I don't think that Margaret was trying to absolve herself of responsibility because she owned it. She's like, I spoke to the ex, yes. And I spoke to the ex more recently, and the ex gave me some interesting info that none of us even knew before. Right? Um, and the thing is, Margaret and Teresa have always had a contentious relationship. They're not friends. So for Margaret to go and talk to the ex, I don't think Margaret brought any of that stuff onto the show aside from I think the initial thing was like, "Hey Teresa, there's this video that's out there. You should get ahead of it. Like address it, kibosh it, and just like, be done with it. Why give it life? Just address it up front. That way it doesn't come back to bite you in the butt, right?" So I get it. That's what Margaret was trying to do, was trying to just like give Teresa an opportunity to address it. But Margaret didn't befriend Teresa after the fact, right? Margaret didn't lie to Teresa. Jackie befriended Teresa, got her to promote her book, and was lying by omission the entire time. Literally would not own up to like, had ample opportunities to tell Teresa, "Hey, by the way, I know that we have a new friendship. I don't want this to get out there in a way that you don't that's shocking to you or jarring to you, but, you know, just wanted to give you a heads up." So, her admitting it, Jackie only admitted it because she got caught. Again, they're sorry they got caught, not really sorry that they did it. Jackie wanted to sell her book, and what a total flop, and what a terrible way for her to go out. Margaret Joseph's top tier housewife, I stand by that. She gave us the flower moment in last week's episode, which saved the episode from being a total flop because Teresa's big revelation was nothing. Her fight with Dolores was captivating, and then Margaret dropping the bomb in the final sit down, I thought was great too. Um, so then Teresa did her own interview, and in the interview, Teresa's claiming that she already knew about Jackie meeting with the exes. She said that's why she didn't even flinch when Margaret revealed that. If you already knew, why didn't you confront Jackie? If you already knew, why would you let Jackie continue? Like, why would you? I mean, I get it. And she owned it. She admitted she was befriending Jackie to get back at Margaret. Teresa had no clue about that. She just didn't want to have a reaction so that Margaret didn't have the upper hand. You know, Margaret, yes, I agree. Margaret was the MVP of the finale. Jackie played Teresa like a $2 whore. She did, and she made Teresa look so dumb in that finale. Anybody that thinks Teresa looked good in that finale is lying to themselves, because not only was there that terrible scene where her and Louie are talking about everybody, and Louie talks about wishing the absolute worst on Margaret's son, and Teresa's basically there complicit validating that. But then in the finale, Teresa doesn't really engage. And when she does engage, the big bombshell with Jackie, she gives no reaction, you know? Yeah. Maxine says, true. She had no idea. She looked like the fool that she is. When Tree is quiet, I wonder what's going on in her little brain. I mean, yeah. Brianna says, Teresa claims she knows who called the FBI and it's been a different person. Oh, that's a good point. Teresa has every season, it's been somebody different. First, it was Jacqueline, then it was Caroline Manzo, and then it was Joe Gorga. Every season, she's accused somebody new of calling the FBI. And not only that, but like, even if, let's say, somebody did tip off the FBI, you still committed a crime. That's why you and your husband went to prison and your husband got deported. Like, it doesn't absolve you. Like the way she's being like, oh, well, Margaret's deflecting from what she did. Yeah, the same way you've continued to deflect why you and your husband served federal prison time for committing felonies. Like, it's just crazy, you know? That's why when Melissa brought up the sprinkle cookies, she's like, really? You had a reaction to sprinkle cookies for years, but you're going to have no reaction? And even Jen Aiden, because again, I watched it again. Jen Aiden and Dolores were like, this is wild. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is like, how does Teresa, like, this is major. The whole time Jackie was the one that was talking to the ex, like, that's crazy. Had them at the house. Not only that, but in this interview, so I'll keep reading Teresa's quotes, because Teresa said she didn't even flinch because she already knew. Again, I doubt she already knew, because why didn't she say that in the moment? Why didn't she say, listen, I already knew? She didn't say it in the moment because she didn't know how to react. She didn't want to react at all. But you can tell she did not know that information. But Teresa continues. And she says, "I knew that they were all hanging out with the exes. I think that they were all talking to the exes." I think is not a fact. That's when people in my comments or Twitter, they're like, "I think this." I'm like, "Great. I think is not a fact. It's an opinion." I think that they were all talking to the exes. Jackie had them at her house because Margaret's not going to be that dumb and have them at her house. Like the bone that she has for Margaret is insane. Or Melissa's not gonna have them at her house because Melissa is gonna look so bad because that's my sister-in-law, and Margaret let Jackie do it because, at the time, Jackie was Margaret's puppet. Guys, come on. It's just like, come on. Like, really? Like, Margaret's the one that set up Jackie to do this. Jackie hasn't admitted that. Jackie has not said that, but Margaret's the one behind all of this. Margaret's colluding. It's just crazy. Um, but she says that she's totally fine with Jackie meeting the ex because she knows that she hurt Jackie. And so it was understandable that Jackie would do this. Even though anytime Teresa's ever hurt anybody else, she's never given them the same pass. I don't get what it is about Jackie. I mean, the only reason she's staying friends with Jackie, even to this day, is to prove that Margaret did not affect her. Period. End of story. It's just crazy. But Jackie said that she had a call with Teresa and Louie after the finale and they cleared things up. So I felt bad regardless of what she had done to me in the past because I did deny knowing the exes. Of course, I did because I didn't want to be in the middle of it. So you knew it was going to get out and you wanted to come clean eventually, but every time you had an opportunity to come clean, you denied it and lied. Got it. Makes sense to me. Ha ha ha. It's crazy. Cuckoo crazy cuckoo burbs. Mallory says Teresa swore on her kids that she didn't bring up the Evan rumor to hurt Jackie. So we know the truth is hard for Teresa. I mean, why else would you bring up the cheating rumor? Like, literally, why? If it wasn't intended to land and be part of the show and talked about on the show, why? Like, it makes no sense. Kirsten says Teresa has hurt Margaret, Melissa, and hurt Melissa so many times. Kathy, and they're done nowhere near what Jackie has done, calling the ex and feeding information for the lawsuit. Well, we don't have any proof that Jackie was leaking any of this information. Jackie said that she dug up information to have it on her back pocket to use against Teresa. So we don't know if she actually did use it against Teresa. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. What's with all of these women swearing on their kid's life? It's so cringe. It is so cringe, especially when all of them are yelling so much. Which brings me to the Heather Dubrow of it all, and the paparazzi photos, and the Katie Janella. Which I don't. Do we want to get into that? Are you guys watching OC? Because that was kind of interesting. Katie's accusing. So yeah, let's take a quick little pivot to OC. Katie Janella, who's the new girl on the block this season, is saying that she saw Heather Dubrow's photos with her and Terry at Disneyland. And Katie is claiming that Heather um, hired or tipped off the paparazzi to come and photograph her and Terry at Disneyland to prove that the relationship is in such a great place, right? Well, Janelle, um, it's so funny because, well, it's, yeah. So Katie's claiming that she has a friend that's in the paparazzi world, and she sent the article where Heather was photographed, sends it to her friend, and her friend responds, and her friend says that yes, or you see the text message, and the friend simply just replies, yeah, Katie asked, were these photos staged? And her friend basically just says, yes, these photos are, or yes, not even these photos are staged, just says yes. Which to me, I read that as, well, that doesn't necessarily confirm that Heather set this up as much as it confirms that like, it looks like Heather set it up, right? Like, you look at the detail, like how many paparazzi are just randomly hanging out at Disneyland. And not only that, but the person that photographed these photos is a professional paparazzi. I looked this photographer up, and their photos are featured in a number of publications, primarily Page Six. So I think they're contracted through, or they put their photos up through Mega, so they take photos and they upload them online that the press can then use for their own articles, right? It does appear that Heather tipped off the press. Heather has vehemently denied it. Okay, she's claiming she's never tipped off the press. That's not what she does. That's not what she does. That's not who she is. Katie's claiming that her friend says that this did happen. Looking at it, I can see how the friend maybe has no concrete information that Heather tipped off this specific paparazzi. But also, I can see how um, the paparazzi dude probably, like, it looks staged. So I'm sure he's like, yeah, that nothing just happens like that, which I also get. Like, hello, Disneyland does not have paparazzi hanging out. You have to buy a ticket to go into Disneyland. This is a professional photographer, a professional paparazzi photographer. Most paparazzi are not just going to pick a random day to go to Disneyland, buy a ticket, take their camera, and hope that they're going to find a celebrity there to make money off of, right? The reason they go to these places to find celebs and to get tips from celebs is so that they can make money off of those photos. She def tipped them off. Disneyland is expensive to exactly, Stacy. That's my thing. Or outside the park. No, I forgot where these photos taken. The photos were taken inside the park. It was in Disneyland. I'm so excited if I catch a live Zack. Hi, Tiffany. Maybe it was Terry. He loves attention. Or maybe it was an assistant. Maybe it was a publicist. Maybe it was a manager or an agent that's like, listen, they need some good press. I'm going to, I can see in the calendar that Heather and Terry are going to be at Disneyland. Although the photos were very posy. That's the other thing, is they were like cuddly and posy. And so that was the other thing that for me was like, that's a little suspicious, right? Like, this photographer looks like he knew what he was getting. He wasn't just getting random photos of Heather and Terry in line. It was Heather and Terry doing cuddles at Disneyland. Like, it was just a little too on the nose. And it was at the time that there were rumors about their marriage being rocky. So usually, if a paparazzi is going to target a celebrity couple when there's divorce rumors or separation rumors or complication rumors within the relationship, they're going to try and capture, like, look at J-Lo. Nobody's trying to take photos of J-Lo and Ben Affleck cuddling up together, but they are going to take photos that show that J-Lo's not wearing her ring. Same thing with Kyle and Mauricio. Everyone's looking for salacious photos of Mauricio. When is he wearing his ring? When is he not wearing his ring? Is he holding hands with somebody? Is he not holding? Who's this new mystery woman? They look for reasons to validate that the marriage is ending rather than looking to take photos to prove that the marriage is good. Why? Because they make more money off the scandal than they do from shutting down a rumor. The photographer has no benefit or incentive to shut down a rumor. So, there. What ride do we think that they were? None took the pics and left. Very staged. Yeah, it looks very staged. Katie's proof is that they said Heather called and calls all the time. Oh, calls all the time. But we never see Heather in the press. Super fake and says they were all good shots. They were good shots. Yeah, a paparazzi, you only take good shots when you have a deal with the talent. If there's anything we learned from Spencer and Heidi, they only take good photos when they have an incentive to take good photos, because usually they're being paid by the celeb or by the talent, or they know that they can make a lot of money off of them. But again, it may not have been Heather that tipped them off. It may have been, a manager, an agent, whatever. Heather may have been made aware of it, but Heather didn't call the paparazzi, didn't tip them off, doesn't know how to tip them off. All of these words are technically true if somebody that represents her is the one that tipped off the paparazzi. And the paparazzi hasn't come out to deny it, probably because he knows that it's true. So there we go. All right. I got to run to go take the pop report, but thank you guys for tuning in to No Filter with Zack Peter. God, I'm already late. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I am sending you so much love, sending you big hugs, and hoping you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much for always supporting me. Like I said, if you want to book a personalized message from me, I am on Cameo, so go book that right now. Just Plain Zack is my handle. You can search Zack Peter and Cameo, or there's a link in the description below. So go right now. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out Disaster Daters. There's a new episode, final episode of the season, dropped today. So go to Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts and catch a new episode of Disaster Daters. Also, be sure to subscribe to the Pop Report, my newest podcast. Everything beyond reality TV, all the latest celebrity news, pop culture news, entertainment news is all on the Pop Report. So you can go and listen to that now. You can subscribe to that on YouTube as well. We're like 5 subscribers away from reaching 1,000 on YouTube. So if you can subscribe to the Pop Report, go. There's a direct link on my YouTube channel. So go subscribe to the Pop Report on YouTube. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the love. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We'll have another good day. Zach showing the chest and get. Oh, we're doing titties out today. This is a low cut shirt. We're just like titties out. This is how, when it's a laundry day, you want to wear a nice silk satin shirt and just be like, va va voom. Let me get this va va voom voom. Ciao for now. Bye.